tag book today. Here are a few things I'm going to use. Some chipboard that we carry. I'm going to use the zip dry, my go-to adhesive. The die to make our tags. Hoping I could use a little fascinator. I don't know. I just want to have it handy. Scissors just in case. I'm going to use the We Are Memory Keepers little die cut machine. Our pad of paper, our 6x6 It's a Fantasy paper, and our It's a Fantasy ephemera kit. So I'm hoping just to kind of throw a little real quick tag book together. So to spare you, that lengthy process video of me just cutting the paper and die cutting it out, I fast forwarded it for you. But I went ahead and used one of every pattern and cut out one of each of the pattern paper and then cut out one of each of the tags on the chipboard just to make it a little bit more sturdy. So that's what I'm doing right here. Now our paper is double-sided, so I didn't have to adhere it to the chipboard because it's double-sided on each side and that would have looked totally cute, but I wanted it to be a little sturdy. Okay, so here we're going to go and we are going to now kind of look and see all the patterns that we cut, hopefully get it in some sort of order so we can start adhering the front to the back of the chipboard. Now I think it should be like 2 of each pattern since it's double-sided, and I tried to do 1 of each pattern, but we shall see. And I can't work in like a messy area, so I have to clean up as I go, which usually takes a little bit, but I just can't have like the clutter around me. So now that we have like a semi-clean working space, we're gonna just see what patterns we have, make sure we have 1 of each one, and then kind of see which patterns we want to use. So on this one, I'm kind of decide between the castle or the train. We have one that has that in the background, and then I'm just going to go ahead and put everything in front of me, and then we'll go through and we'll kind of put it in order how we want the pages to go and how it will kind of coordinate. So I know I wanted the front cover to be the teacups. I think that's like a really good example of Fantasyland. I loved the It's a Small World. I figured it would go good with the yellow princess background. On the opposite side, that's our castle background, and then of course I'm gonna go with the blue. It just coordinates pretty good, and then we're just gonna start matching them up, front to back, front to back. Yep, and there we go. Now you're going to notice I get a little confused in a little bit. I had it all together right here. Everything was pretty good. All of the colors matched. This is how I wanted the pages to go. Everything coordinated perfect. And then, things don't always work out like you want them to sometimes. So now I'm like, oh man, I need 1 more because there was 1 pattern paper I didn't cut because it was rather large. So if I cut it, it would kind of lose what it was because it's kind of meant to be shown as a whole. See, it's the back of that one. So I'm like, you know what, I'll just redo the same one and use that other side of the paper instead of the castle side. Because when you cut it, then you kind of cut into the castle, but it has a really good pattern on the opposite side, so I figured I'll just use that. And my other Sizzix little die cut machine had died a long time ago. I bought this one secondhand for like $15, and so I know I need new plates. I just haven't I haven't replaced them yet. They're still okay. So now that I have a back to that one that was missing one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start to adhere it. What I like to do, me cleaning again, what I like to do is use zip dry. You guys know that. It's kind of like my go-to when I'm using the chipboard. It's just a really good quick glue, and I like it. I'm used to it. I've been using it for years, and I like it. So what I do is I usually put the front and then the back, and I already screwed up on that teacup one because it was supposed to be glued to the other side. But You make do. So I'm here just adhering it all together, making sure it's all good. And first, because I messed up on the teacup one, I had to cut another one just so I didn't use so many patterns. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I completely got it out of order. But I was just going to make it work. I was not about to start over. So here I go, just kind of saying, like, you know what? It's not that big of a mistake. It's not going to bother me. I'm going to poke out all the little chipboard pieces in the middle. And then kind of put it back into some sort of a order. I love using the chipboard. I could have just doubled up on some cardstock or even doubled up on the pattern paper, but I really like the enforcement of the chipboard. It just makes it easier if I want to adhere something heavy on there, or it's going to make it last a little longer, especially if anyone's touching it. I want it to kind of to last. There's my little, I have two of those little mini trash cans on my desk because I cannot stand to have anything like just floating around like that. So it could be a little overkill, but you know. So now I have to figure out a new pattern sequence since I messed up. And so I'm just going to kind of just, I'm just going to go for it and figure it out. This will work too. So now it's going to go teacup, and then it's similar to what I had originally thought of. It's just the teacup one was going to be on the cover, and then I'm going to use it on the first page. And then opposite the teacup, I believe it was like a mirror, mirror on the wall one. So it's okay. And then I'm just pulling some things I might want to use for the front cover. So I have that little silver castle charm that I've had forever. And then I pulled just some little acrylic pieces from the Fairy Tale Club. I thought would look really cute. The colors were vibrant. They're small enough where it'll be in proportion to the tag book. So I wanted to use them. Fairy Tale Club. If you guys haven't checked them out, you should. They have some great stuff. And then I kind of wanted to use this. Years ago, Home Depot had a whole line of Disney colored paints. And the paint chips were the Mickey heads. So I remember going to Home Depot and just taking a ton of them and then cutting them out. And I've had them in my stash forever. So I am sad because I think I'll run out soon, but I have enough. And then I do have our It's a Small World patch from that we had when we debuted our Small World line, and it's from Stitch It To Me. So there was a bunch of things I thought I wanted to use, but it's not a 6x6 cover or a mini book, so I couldn't use them all. I had to kind of choose. Now, I have that castle charm that we had made a couple years ago, and I thought I wanted to use that too. And then I'm just pulling a metal ring to put all of the tags in and to hold it together. I picked a pretty purple one. One, because it's the background color on the teacups, and two, it's because Disney's going hard with the purple because of the 100th. It's like the official color. So I thought that would be cute. I'm going to cut just some string and some ribbons to put up on top. I pulled what I had in my stash, some pom-poms, like some just things that I had that I thought would coordinate. I have some sequins I thought would be cute. I have it in that hot pink and then in that iridescent like white pearlish. And I've had these for years, and I'm so sad because it was like a huge bowl, and now you can kind of see it dwindling away, and I'm like, darn. Just some polka dot organza ribbon, nothing special. And then this is probably like a grosgrain or satin ribbon. Yeah, it's a grosgrain. Just some colors that would coordinate. I was going to tie them around the ring binder. Oh, I love them. I'm so sad that that's dwindling. And then I found this other little pink satin one. I'm like, oh, you know what? That'll work. And that one only has one little tiny piece left on it. I really do need to replenish some of my ribbon stash because it's lasted like years, like almost 10 years. I bought in such massive bulk. Now I'm going to go ahead and tie them around the little metal clamp right there, and I immediately start to like not like it. I was even doubting myself, like it's just not me. Um, it'll look cute, but it's just not me. I'm just kind of simple when it comes to that. I was considering just putting like one of the Stitch It To Me like clips up there. Um, but I thought it needed just a little something. So I continue because I'm like, you know what, I'm going to try it. Let me just see how it'll look all kind of filled up. Maybe I'll like it when it's all together. I start to put the ribbons on one by one. Sometimes I've even just put them all in my hand and tied them all together instead of doing it like stacking like this. But I haven't done it in forever. So I'm like, you know what, let me just try it again. I'm going to stack them. The messier and bulkier on the top, the better. It just looks full. But I just was not kind of having it. I'm trying to tame it. I'm trying to like work around it. If you're like a master tire and you can do it where it looks good, I give it to you because I just couldn't get it to look real cute. And I knew I kind of wanted to use that somehow, and it was light enough where I could tie it and it can kind of maybe move around when the pages were moved. But I'm like, it needs something bigger. It's getting lost because it's just silver. So I decided to use the charm that we made a couple years ago. I had a few of them that I had saved for myself. So went ahead and I'm going to just tie it on there. And I'm going to add a few more because I'm like, you know what, maybe it needs something. So this is what I used to do is just put them all in my hand and then tie them. And I'm like, you know what, I'm done with these ribbons. I'm just going to do that. And I tried it. It was hard. I have fat little fingers, so it's not so easy for me sometimes. And the ribbon was really chunky. I should have done these ones one by one as well, but I just wanted to get it done. And you'll see later on that I literally ended up taking them all off because I was just like, it's just not me. I think it was the pom-poms that were like making everything difficult. Usually everything just kind of goes in there and it's easy and, I'm done. But it was all the little pom-poms. I should have done that by itself. But so here it's looking kind of full. And there you go. I leave it there. I try it. And then I'm going to attach the twine that's going to hold the castle charm on the front. I really didn't want to adhere it to the front cover. I wanted it to have some movement, and that's why I chose this. I really want to make sure it's not going to come off. So I like triple knot it, which doesn't look very good either, but and I wanted it to, have a little color there too. So I left some of it hanging. So I'm thinking like maybe if I give him a haircut and trim it, it'll look better, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So of course I have to, toss everything and then if it was trash, but if I can kind of do something with it, I'm going to save it and use it on another project. I thought maybe putting a little bit more twine, but we'll see. We'll see. So here I am just attaching those little pieces of the twine. I didn't want to go to waste. And sometimes when it's so small like that, it gets lost because usually when I have extras of the ribbon or what have you, I put it in the little barrel of that ribbon. So I'll just stick it in that little hole. But sometimes if it's too small, it just falls out. So I'm trying to make it look okay. I'm trying to like convince myself that it's working. Again, look at, there's trash, so I have to throw it away. And I'm like, it's like when you get a new haircut and you're like, I guess. So I'm going to fidget with this for probably forever. And then I always have to clean. That's like my nervous little move there. It's constantly cleaning. And I'm not even just doing it for the camera. Like my workspace, it has to be like just pretty clean. So I'm like thinking, how do I want to layer everything on here? It's Fantasyland, all about stories and fairy tales. So I did want to incorporate the book ephemera die cut piece we have somehow. So I'm going to use the pop dots. And I don't know if anyone else does this. I usually use the middle of the pop dots, how they're intended to be used. I take them out, I put them on there. And then I do not discard the other piece. I use that as well. It's the same thing, and no one's going to see the back, so it doesn't matter. And then I'm just going to take off all of the little papers so I could adhere that down. So if you're not doing that to your pop dots, don't waste them. Use all that you can. And then it just goes right on there. And then I know I want to use one of those little hearts from Fairy Tale Club. So I grab my zip dry, which is great on everything. Put a little on there. And then I should have used my tweezers probably for this part because I'm like, oh, my fingers. They're so big and it was so tiny. And then perfect. It's on there. And then I had noticed that it had some of the burn marks from the acrylic cutter that they used to cut the acrylic, and I was like, ooh, I don't really want that to be shown. So I took it off right away, wiped off the adhesive, and adhered it to the side that didn't have any of the burn marks. And it was perfect. So now I'm going to just kind of go through and see what other things I want to add to the front cover, if I want to add anything. I'm looking at all the different pieces that we have because I usually like it to say something too, but the charm was so big and it took up a lot of room that I'm like, you know what, it's fine. If I put anything on there, it's going to get covered and then maybe look a little bit too messy. So I called that done. Now the first page, making sure that gets stuck because I took it off, so I'm making sure that little hard acrylic gets stuck. It says mirror mirror, so it's like a nod to Snow White, you know, the evil queen. So I thought it would be great to use one of our stickers that we did in collaboration with Paper Talk and then use the infamous poison apple. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to put the apple down and then I would use one of the stickers from the evil queen. I do love to use my Tombow as well when I'm just doing some quick projects like that. And then of course my tweezers because it helps me get it to where I need. It helps me actually see without my fingers and big hands being in the way, and then adhere it down. And then I'm just going to pull one of the stickers from our villains, our queens, and stick that evil queen down there somewhere. And then call that one done. Now here, if you can see the pattern, it's really cute. It's like a diamond pattern, and then in the center of the diamond where the points meet, they're little crowns. So I was like, you know what, should I use the crown on there? Our it's a fantasy ephemera pack is really great. There's so many options of things that are found in Fantasyland, like the little house right there. It looks like the little Pinocchio village, Mr. Toad's car. You have some of the flowers from Alice in Wonderland. It really covered a lot. So we're going to go ahead and stick that crown on that one, and that one is done. Now the blue checkered. I'm just kind of looking to see what else we could use on there. The blue checkered I thought would be really cute. We have a carousel horse. I thought it would be perfect. So I am just adhering that. Apologize for it being out of frame, but I'm just going to adhere it on there. I think it goes perfect. It's one of the patterns that's found on the carousel, so perfect. And I'm not really taking too much time and making these tags, intricate. I just kind of want to get them done. And then I'm going to figure out what pictures. I'm going to print the pictures tiny if I want to put a picture on there. If not, I'm going to just journal on there. Now, because this is a small world pattern paper, I thought it would be cute to use some of the ephemera from our other pack. We have two small world inspired ephemera packs. I thought it would be cute to use something from one of those packs. So I was looking for the words that said like bonjour or, something, but I think I'd already used them. So I was just going to see what other things that we had and what other colors, because I kind of wanted to use the gold. We have two small world patterns in our It's a Fantasy paper kit, and one of them is like the golds, and then one of them is like the bright and the pinks, so, or pinks, and it's more colorful. So I decided to use this little guy because he kind of had those golds and marigolds, and I thought it would be perfect. Just trying to make sure that there's not a better option or something else that I could use. And when in doubt, we make our packaging so it doesn't get tossed at the end when you're done with it, that you want to hopefully use the packaging as well. You can cut it out, you can cut out the pieces, the pictures on the back, you can cut out the patterns in the middle. We're hoping that that's not something that you just toss, that you utilize it to the very end and have the least amount of waste as possible. Now, the colors on this little gal was perfect for the opposite page. So I went ahead and I pulled those, and then I wanted to pull some of the words and hopefully use them as well. It doesn't matter if it's the right, language of, that they're speaking. It just kind of wanted the colors. I was more concerned with the colors than if it was the correct language or not. So here we go. Just going to figure out what colors we want to use, and I don't mind if it's going to hang off a little bit. I kind of prefer when things, aren't exactly on it. It could hang off, or be layered. It doesn't bother me. I'll just put the adhesive of where it needs to go. So then that works out really good. And you guys already know I have my dogs with me. So if you hear them, the little pitter patters or anything, snoring, it's them. They're right underneath my feet right here. So I feel like I could hear them, like they literally have a megaphone on them, but hopefully you can't hear them as loud. Now, the little pink stripe paper, I kind of love it. It's super simple. You can't really tell, or maybe you can, but it has simple colored little stripes on there, and it's just kind of perfect. I thought it'd be great for the little village house. If you guys have been to, Magic Kingdom or Disneyland inside Fantasyland, it kind of mimics, the little villages of, Pinocchio or, Beauty and the Beast or what have you. So Snow White. So it's these little like village houses. So I thought that would be really cute. So we went ahead and called that one a day. Now we're going to do the opposite side. This pattern paper I loved. I loved the colors. I loved that it was like a little nod to all of the, the whimsical little furry friends that our princesses always seem to be around. I thought it was really, really cute. I think I love it more even too because the colors. I love those greens and the blue. It's just bright. It's just super me. So I didn't want to take away a lot from it, but I can totally picture like Snow White or Cinderella, in the forest reading to her little critter friend. So I put the book there. And then I figure, you know what? I'm going to add Belle's little flower because she is our little bookworm. So that'll be a nod to Belle. Yep, and then that one I will call done. I think I put a little bit more adhesive on there. I have the tiniest dogs. I do. They're like little, they're rescues, so they're like Chihuahua mixes with something, but they're tiny, and they snore the loudest. I think they make as much noise as my dad's German Shepherd. I'm not even kidding. It's just in my ear, so I'm thinking you guys could hear it, and maybe you can't. Now, I had put that little gal aside for the opposite side of the Small World page. I'm going to go ahead and pop dot her a little bit. And I think her color scheme is perfect for this other side of the paper. And then I'm going to get some words that I can place there as well that kind of coordinate with the paper and her outfit. Like I said, I'm mainly looking for color, and it doesn't matter what the words, what actual language it is. I love the colors that we picked for that, so that one's perfect. I popped out at her so then the words can kind of go under her. Now this is a page, I really love this pattern paper in our paper pack. It has like, I would like to think Casey Jr.'s train going up to the castle, and it gives that little silhouette. So it's like perfect Fantasyland when you look into like, through the castle, and then you see Casey Jr.'s little train. I chose to use a side that had the castle on it. So I'm going to give a nod to our princes and put one of our swords there, because right in front of the castle when you exit, or actually right in front of the carousel when you exit the castle, is our little area for the sword and the stone. So I figured I'll put the sword there. But, I'm constantly changing my mind. So I also like that the pixie dust matched. It had the perfect blue. So I'm just kind of deciding what I'm going to use. I go ahead and I pop dot the word, and I'm going to use that. It's just a little pixie dust. And I'm going to just put that somewhere on there, and perfect. Right there. So I call that one done. I don't even decide to use the sword after all. I'm going to use it on this one because I do want to use, the prince and the princess, something from them. So I'm going to put the crown again and then adhere the little sword just in case, our princesses could use swords too, but the princes need a little bit of representation in our tag book. So again, I'm using the negative part of the pop dots. Like I said, if you haven't done it, please tell me you're going to start doing it. Don't throw those away. It's literally the same exact thing as the pop dot you are using. It's just not cut in a circle or a square or what have you, but it's the same thing. So I pop dot that, and then I'm just going to stick the sword behind it. Yeah, right there. Perfect. And then this page is going to be opposite of the first cover, the front cover. So technically that would be the first page, but the way I like it to go is the first page is what you see in front of you, and then when you flip it upside down, to the other side, then that would be, the whole second part. So this is on the opposite side of the front cover. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use some of the cute teacup dies we have. Taking all those little things off. And it's perfect. And like I said, I don't mind when things hang off to the side, so it's fine. And then I call it done. It took literally 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and that's cutting everything out. So let's just do a quick flip through. So front cover, page 1 and 2, page 3 and 4, page 5 and 6, and 8, 9 and 10. And then on the back cover, I don't like to do anything because it usually, sits on that. Now these I could leave like this and it can stay a tag book, or I can take it apart and use these tags individually like in a mini book or what have you. Or you could even wrap it on a gift. I just made a tag just like this for a gift that I had made, and that was like what I put the to and the from on, and it came out really, really cute. And I love those charms. I might bring the castle charms back because I really do love it. And it's just sweet and simple. Now the pictures I'm going to print for these ones are going to be tiny squares. So I'll show you. I'll probably be able to print all of the pictures on one 4x6 after I size them all. And it'll be perfect. I'm so excited. So thanks for watching. I hope this inspires you guys to make a tag book or a mini book or anything. All of the items that we used today were from Social Paper Plan with the exception of the things from Fairy Tale Club. Thanks.